Lights are bright, candidates ready for the fight. Voices loud, they take the stand. Who will lead the promised land? Promises flying, hearts ignite. Truth and lies will take the mic. The clock is ticking, make your choice. Who you hear, the people's voice. It's in the ballot, it's in your hand. The future's calling, take a stand. One vote, one dream, one destiny. Who will wear the crown in 2025? We'll see. Words are weapons wielded, strong debates get heated. Right or wrong, they paint the town with visions bold. Who will rise, who will fold? Shadows linger, truth will stand. The battle rages from within. One by one they state their case, but only one can win this race. Who will lead this, win this race? It's in the ballot, it's in your hand. The future's calling, take a stand. One vote, one dream, one destiny. Who will wear the crown in 2025? We'll see. We'll see. Promises flying, hearts ignite. Truth and lies will take a mic. The clock is ticking, make your choice. Will you hear the people's voice? It's in the ballot, it's in your hand. The future's calling, take a stand. One vote, one dream, one destiny. Who will wear the crown in 2025? We'll see. Words are weapons wielded, strong debates get heated. Right or wrong, they paint the town with visions bold. Who will rise, who will fold? Shadows linger, truth will stand. The battle rages from within. One by one they state their case, but only one can win this race. Who will lead this, win this race? It's in the ballot, it's in your hand. The future's calling, take a stand. One vote, one dream, one destiny. Who will wear the crown in 20?
Okay, good evening everybody. Tonight these candidates here are vying to become the next mayor of the Whakatāne District Council. But with every election there's always one thing stepping in their way, and that's your vote. And let's give our candidates a big round of applause. Okay, and let's kick off with the first part of the show. Let's kick off with opening statements, and our random list order generator has put Philip up the top. You can start with your 1 minute opening statement why you should be given that tick for mayor.
Good evening. My name is Philip Jacobs. I am an accountant, a numbers man if you like. I began my Whakatāne District Council journey in April last year. Since then, I have attended almost every council public meeting. My journey started as a response to council's long-term plan, the proposed 42% 3-year rate rise and ballooning debt up to $320 million. They have driven me to seeking the mayoralty. Council's finances are clearly in trouble, and without strong and interventionist financial management, I think the district is doomed. My council concerns matches those of the government's, which has introduced its proposed local government reform legislation, and it is investigating rates capping. The only way that I and your new council can restrain unaffordable rate rises is to wind back spending on unnecessary things. For example, I do not support the Rex Morpeth Hub redevelopment in its current $100+ million form. That's me. You know where I'm coming from.
Okay, thank you for that. Next up, Nandor.
Kia ora tātou. My name is Nandor Tansosh and I'm asking you to elect me Mayor of Whakatāne District. Why? Because we need change. We need real, practical leadership that can get stuff done. So I have a postgrad diploma in management and sustainability. I'm a chartered member of the Institute of Directors, so my governance and financial skills have been tested at a high level. But it is my practical experience that is most significant. I'm a businessman of 30 plus years. I've been a Member of Parliament for 9 years and a councillor for the same. I've spent decades working in community organisations, doing mahi on the ground in some of the most financially disadvantaged communities in this district, so I understand the issues. My children whakapapa to Ngāti Manawa, Tūhoi, Ngāti Pūkeko and others. I know how to walk in both worlds, in fact, many worlds. And I've spent my life working with diverse people, learning how to build agreement from opposing views. I have a reputation as a pragmatic optimist who knows how to get things done. Kia ora.
Okay, next up, Wilson.
Yeah, hi, I'm Wilson James. I'm here because I like people, I like community, and I like our district. So I just want to get on and see it flourish. I like to lead from the front. I like to build teams around me, and I've had plenty of experience in putting things together, successful operations. Part of my, Sandra and I ran a large-scale dairying operation on the Rangitaki Plains for 35 years. I've been involved at Fonterra, which is a company, well, you all know Fonterra, a company with annual turnover of 24 billion, so I'm used to dealing with numbers and with big numbers. But yeah, I'm just here to do everything I can for, not only for Whakatāne, for our whole district, right up to Murupara. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Victor.
Kia ora everybody. I'm the current Mayor of Whakatāne. I was born, raised and schooled here. I spent a 30-year career in science research, management and leadership. I returned home in 2019 and was elected to council that year. I'm standing because I want to make Whakatāne a better place, where people can live, work, raise a family, be happy, pay their rates and get what they need, decent infrastructure. I'm the only candidate to have actually been a mayor. It's all very well to talk about it, but I've got the actual experience. Under my watch, council has done everything that it needed to do. I keep hearing the criticism that we didn't do anything. Well, we did. Democracy and civility has always prevailed. And when I stood during my first term, I've asked council to live within its means, to focus on critical infrastructure and to cap staff numbers at levels that are at current levels. I've also tried to have a serious conversation about affordability. That's ongoing. Council needs to achieve sustainable and resilient funding, and that's one of the things I stood for. We can't continue to put our hands deeper into ratepayers' empty pockets. We've got to find other ways of getting money in the coffers. And we have a substantial property portfolio that's a bit lazy, and we need to do more with it. I'm also pro-solar development because that gets money to pay council's energy bills, and also I'm pro a second bridge for Whakatāne for resilience and economic development. Thank you.
Okay, and next up, Mark.
Kia ora koutou. I'm a family man with a huge heart, passionate about our community, a leader who gets things done. Oh, sorry, is that better? Yeah, kia ora. I'm a family man with a huge heart, passionate about our community, a leader who gets things done. Whakatāne is a place I'm proud to call home. I believe in our community deserves better. I'll keep focusing on affordable rates, sporting, support sporting culture, arts, festivals, and continue to enhance local pride. That will go along with attracting local visitors and hopefully showing an empathetic leadership that listens and shows that the council and the current mayor is compassionate and willing to listen to the community. Together, we can build a stronger community that's more vibrant, for our future generations, because that's what we're here for, is the future generations.
Okay, thank you for that. Now let's get on to the box questions. Now, because we're doing things on a very slimmed down budget here, it's in the ballot. I'll be playing both the role of Selwyn Too Good and Tēnā Kakabushi tonight. So I'll be grabbing the questions out of the boxes as well as doing it. There are 28 questions, and we'll get candidates to go one by one picking box numbers, and I'll read out the questions that are in those boxes. Also, each candidate gets given 2 button cards to sit and do it. Metaphorically speaking, I'll keep the tally of what the buttons are, because I've learnt half the time is you still got to sit there and do it, because the number of times people try to reuse their used button cards is quite amazing. And also each candidate gets a defer card, so if they get a question they do not want to answer, they could always defer it to another candidate. For when a candidate wants to use their button cards, if they would like to sit there and do it, they wait, indicate to me that they would like to use their button card and wait for the original candidate to finish their question, and then they add in their button from that. And we using the random list order generator. Mark, you get to go first, and you can pick any box number between number 1 and number 28, or you can use Te Reo Māori of between Tahi and Rua Tukoma Waru.
Let's go with 11.
Go with 11, no problem. Okay, and we have that one for L for Lima. What role should councils play in youth engagement and supporting young people in Whakatāne? Do you believe youth space and its services are core council work?
Yes, 100%. Youth are our future. Council should provide spaces for youth to connect, thrive, work alongside schools, iwi, youth organisations. While youth services aren't core infrastructure, investing in them will build safer, stronger and striving communities.
Okay, Philip, what's your next box number? 7. Okay, we got Y for yellow. Beyond finances, what do you see as council's biggest overall risk, and how would you deal with it?
Council's organisational culture and its inherent disrespect for the community, as shown by their failure to recognise the 73% of the people who didn't want the Rex Morpeth Hub project to proceed. That represents the biggest risk to Council's effectiveness and its community relationships.
Okay, Victor, your...
10, it's a round number.
No problem. Okay, we got F for Foxtrot. With respect to large capital projects, is it more important to support local contractors or to focus on getting the best value for ratepayers?
Well, I think you have to try and do both, and that's why council has a procurement policy that's written the way it is. It has a social procurement policy. So if a local contractor can do the job for approximately the same as someone from outside, I think the local should definitely get it. Local contractors pay rates, so this is a way of getting clawing some back. So definitely give preference to local contractors.
Okay, Wilson, what box number?
3.
3. Okay, we got C for Charlie. While the government is proposing to define core services for councils through the Local Government Systems Improvement Bill, what do you consider to be core and non-core services?
I think just about everything that council does at the moment is core business. Infrastructure, what does infrastructure cover? It covers recreational, it covers this sort of building. It's right across the floor. Waste management, the whole lot. So I don't think council's actually doing much that's not non-core.
Okay, Nandor, what box number?
Tōna whākua.
Tōna whā, 14. Had to make me think there. Okay, we got W for Whakatāne. What experience or skills do you bring to ensure sound financial governance and decision making?
Thank you. The first thing is that I'm a chartered member of the Institute of Directors. So I invested in myself personally to go through their company directors course to learn advanced governance skills. I then took the assessment to become a chartered member. And so that's tested my financial abilities and my governance abilities at a high level. I went back to university after I finished in Parliament. I got myself a postgraduate diploma in management and sustainability. So I studied economics, I studied resource management, I studied community development and a whole range of different things at a postgraduate level. I've also done the RMA Making Good Decisions course, which has both allowed me to become a chair for RMA consent hearings, but also it's really based around good practice around how you make good decisions based on information. I totally believe in continued personal and professional development, and it's something that I personally continue to invest in as a lifelong investment.
Okay, thank you for that. And we have 5 questions down, and we've got a new list order here. Mark, what's your next box number?
Number 9.
Number 9, we can do that. Okay, we got H for hotel. Do you support initiatives that promote tourism or cultural heritage as part of economic development?
Yeah, well, that's an easy one. That's 100% yes. I support these initiatives because tourism and our cultural heritage are vital for our economy. They've been a big part of Whakatāne in our district for a long time. Unfortunately, lost one of our major tourism operators or attractions, but I mean, you look at New Zealand's most loved beach. We've still got that. We've still got the abundant amount of fishing. We've still got cultural facilities throughout Whakatāne in the district that we can showcase and educate people through. I think the Whakatāne district should be proud of the area that we are from and what we have to offer. We've probably got one of the best golf courses in the country. We've got one of the best harbours in the country, and we've got the safest beach. So as a tourist spot for young people and international visitors, we've got everything on offer that the country can show.
Nando, what's your next box number?
Reo te kaukua.
Yes, the old voting age, or one of the old voting ages. Okay, we've got M for Murupara. Looking ahead, what is the single biggest opportunity you see for Whakatāne, and how would you ensure the district takes advantage of it?
So I don't think in terms of single opportunities, the idea that we have some kind of monoculture, big industry that's going to be the saviour for our district, I think is wrong. We have to look at it as a mosaic. So we've got a whole lot of things that are opportunities for us. Solar farming is one. We're the sunshine capital. That's something we can make real advantage of, and we're starting to see investment in solar farming in our district. We've got an amazing creative sector. Our art sector is phenomenal, and people can come from anywhere in the world. They can come and live here with a high-speed broadband and practice art and get out to the world. We've got tourism, and Mark's just, I think, gave a really good summation of that. We've got supporting and servicing the billion-dollar aquaculture industry that's developing just up the coast. That's going to be enormous. We've got innovation in our farming and horticultural sectors. We've got high-value honey products. So Mānuka Performance is exporting high-value product based on Mānuka honey out into China, into South Korea, into the United States. I think we've just got so many opportunities for us. We just have to take advantage of it.
Okay, next up, Victor, what box number?
2.
Yep, we can do 2. Okay, we got Q for Quebec. Whakatāne Centre and local economy needs revitalisation. What will you do to support businesses, attract investment, and strengthen tourism and employment opportunities?
Okay, just a minute. Well, first, I don't think we should have a direct role in tourism. I think we have to put in place the conditions, and we have some wonderful natural assets that essentially sell themselves. Our largest employer in this district by far is the Whakatāne Hospital. So there's 800 staff there, and it serves the entire Bay of Plenty sub-region. So our hospital is therefore one of the biggest contributors to our GDP. We need to advocate to maintain its viability and expand its services. council has or should have an advocacy role in this space. Recently, we put the seal on the Eastern Bay of Plenty Economic Development Strategy, which is really focused on, the entire Eastern Bay, but Whakatāne is the hub, the place where people will come to live. Aquaculture in the Portakey, forest products in Kawerau, and we've got this wonderful asset of energy richness that we have. We produce about 11% of this country's green energy. We're only 1% of the total population. And then there's ideas like developing cycleways that have been presented to us, which I think are good ways of getting people in here.
Oh, button there.
Okay, Nandor's got a button.
I think there's a number of things that we can do and that the mayor can do. So first of all, the mayor is the champion for the district. They're the person going out, networking and really playing up our district as a place to invest in. I think we've got to sort out our consenting and compliance area. I hear a lot of complaints about the consenting, holding people up, holding people's development initiatives up. So I think that's something we need to really get into and examine what's going on and how can we make it more of an enabling council. I think we can get into workplace development. I don't think we should be spending a lot of money in that area, but if you think about the Mayor's Task Force for Jobs, the original version, that's something we haven't been doing in this district, and I think that's something we can do. We need to make sure the housing is in place, because you can invest here, you can set up a business, but if there's nowhere for your workers to live, it's not going to work. So we've got to urgently do something about our housing shortage. Through our council procurement, and Victor's already touched upon that, we're a cornerstone institution in this economy, so we have to make sure that our procurement supports the local economy, and we have to build relationships with local businesses and really talk to local businesses. What are the obstacles to doing business and thriving in this district?
Okay, Philip, your box number.
Number 19.
Number 19. Been told that's a prime number. Okay, we got, was it AA for AA batteries? Whakatāne and Ohope are growing and infrastructure is under pressure. How will you manage growth while ensuring roads, water, wastewater services are future-proofed?
The district is not growing so fast as that the infrastructure will outrun the demand. Council receives $25 to $28 million a year in depreciation coming through the rates model. That's more than enough to fund the $20 million planned for the water services done well over the next 10 years and provide some capacity for the other elements of council work. I think we just need to go through a period of several years of consolidation rather than expansion and growth.
Can I butt in?
Yes, we've got a button from Victor.
I think there's a bit of a fallacy on this growth thing. I mean, we don't just want to grow for growth's sake. We want prosperity without growth. This country has been growing very fast, 2% per annum for the last 10 years. And in some ways, it's been the source of our problems because infrastructure just hasn't kept up. So you've got to grow at a rate that you can put the infrastructure on. And I think that's critical. And government really has been the main culprit here because it has all the levers to control population growth, at least via the immigration channels, because 75% of our growth is through net migration. So I think you just don't go around saying growth. It's prosperity we want for everybody.
Okay, Wilson, what's your next box number?
24.
24, oh yes. That's the good old age that you no longer have to put, was it if you're on student allowance, having to get parental income.
I thought you were going to make some other comment.
I know it's not council matter, but it's always good to remind it. We got S for Sierra. Do you think council should expand or reduce its role in social and community services?
Right now, I don't think we're in a position where we can expand it, but I certainly don't think we can reduce it either. I think at the moment we probably just need to keep it going as it is. It's an important part of our community. We've got to keep especially the younger people and that, they need nurturing and they need facilities and that to keep them from wandering astray, getting into drugs, also, trouble, all sorts of things. So, I think it's council's job to put the infrastructure in place for that sort of activity.
Okay, so we have 10 questions down, so we've got a new list order. Philip, what's your next box number?
18.
Oh, yes, the current voting age. Okay, we have X for X-ray. What qualities do you believe are most important in a mayor, and how will you demonstrate them?
The mayor is necessarily the leader of the community, the leader of the councillors, and through the CEO, somewhat leader of staff. By definition, that requires a respectful and inclusive leadership approach, even in the face of needed urgent action. I intend to work daily with individual councillors in the office and elsewhere, regularly with all of them in team meetings, where we will plan out council's work program and discuss our conflicting agendas and try and build and indeed establish a consensus so that we can move forward with all of council's activities.
Okay, Nandor, what's the next box number?
Iwa ko.
Sorry, we have already been taken.
True. Okay. Toru.
Toru? That's also been taken. Would you like far?
I'm losing track. You choose me one.
Far?
Far. Right.
Okay, we got A for Alpha. Do you support political party endorsements of local government candidates? If so, why? If not, why not?
Well, look, I think it's up to political parties and up to candidates themselves. I don't think my opinion is really relevant. Most people want councillors and mayors who are not beholden to a political party, I think, and who can work with anyone. And I've demonstrated that throughout my political life, the ability to work with people across political boundaries. But if candidates want to fly a political flag, why would we stop them?
Okay, and we've button from Philip.
I believe the local government should be free of all party politics. Councillors are elected to represent the district, the interests of the district, and not the interests of any political group.
Okay. Wilson, what's your next box number?
We've got 25.
25. Oh, yes, the good old age that your car insurance excess comes down at.
You're starting to push it a bit, you know.
That's all right. Mine went from 800 to 300, which was really good being, Okay, we've got Z for Zulu. Would you support exploring alternative revenue streams or funding models to reduce the ratepayer burden?
Absolutely, and I think we need, the sooner we get on looking at these sort of things, the better. It's difficult to say where it could come from, but I think government's got to come to some of the party. I think there's corporates around that are also going to be part of it, but I think too, we've got to get on and put things in place, generating money for ourselves. It's like the regional council, they've got Quayside Holdings, which was nice when it was given to them. We weren't so fortunate to have it set up. We've got all the land along the Strand there that which is harbour board lease, so we need to make better use out of that, get a better return, get that coming off the rates for the ratepayer.
Can I butt in?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Wilson's already supported that because we've been running a project for 2 years which it does exactly that. It's about looking at ways of getting better yield out of our assets, principally property assets. So that's all. Thank you, Wilson, for supporting that.
And
I'll
Philip,
button as well, please.
we'll do Philip with the button. Are you wanting to do one after that, Nandor?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Philip first.
It's a yes and no answer for me. Council is not in the business of being in business. We must avoid a repeat of the boat harbour disaster. Yes, we can do better with some of our existing assets, but we need to walk away from grand schemes that are none of council business and nothing that we have any expertise in.
Okay, Nandor.
I think we do have to explore alternative revenue streams. And I'll just make the point that actually the project to start finding better commercial returns from our commercial assets began with Tony Bond when he was mayor and continued with Judy Turner and has continued under Victor. But that's a project that's been going on for some time now, the idea of setting up a council-controlled trading organisation to handle commercial assets on a commercial basis. It's something I support. I've supported from the beginning because it's not just about a better return, it's also because our assets are all in a flood-prone area in one class of asset. We have to have diversity in our portfolio for safety. I think there are other things we can do as well, partnerships with commercial entities, but also with iwi, who have a long-term interest in this area and may see a viable opportunity for investment. I'm interested to explore kind of left field ideas, like some places use things like infrastructure bonds, and I don't know if they'll work here, but I think it's worth looking at some of those kinds of ideas. And I'd like to see us charging resource rentals for water, but currently legislation doesn't allow that.
Yes. Okay, next up, Victor, what box number?
Has anyone chosen 8?
No, they haven't. Let's take 8. Okay, we got N for November. Rates have increased significantly in the last 3 years. What current services or activities performed by council do you consider are non-core services and should be stopped or reduced?
I don't actually talk about core services. I talk about critical infrastructure. And by that I mean things that people can't live without in today's world. So I talk about water, roading, waste management, parks and reserves. Other stuff, you get those things in order, and the rest of the core services I think we can pick off in order of priority. It's really all about prioritization. I'm not going to say what I'd kill at the moment, but I think we don't have those four basic things in order yet. So they for me are priority items.
Okay, Mark.
Can we ask the
And can I
crowd?
just say that I don't like the
Good job,
government's
Victor.
definition of core and non-core either, because their core seems to cover almost everything as well. So I don't know. I'm a bit confused. at the
Didn't they
moment.
also leave cemeteries out of it?
Yeah. So the whole thing is still up for grabs for me. But let's just stick to the basics. Yeah.
Can we get a number from the crowd?
Yep. What number would the crowd suggest? 13. No, it hasn't been taken. So yeah, let's get 13 out of the way.
Let's take 13 then.
Okay, we've got J for Jellybean. Do you support council playing an active role in housing supply and affordability? If so, what should that look like?
Yes, I do support that. Councils has a role in enabling housing supply through zoning, infrastructure planning, and partnerships with iwi, developers and central government. Council should focus on unlocking this land and reducing consent barriers, and rather than being the developer itself, hand it over, make it easier for the consent process, and build some real partnerships, because there's a lot of land on the other side of the river and beyond that you could form some really nice partnerships with.
Okay, we've got 15 questions down and we've got a new list order. Nandor, what's the next box number?
Choose me one, please.
The current, was it driver's license age of 16?
Sure.
Okay, we've got R for Romeo. That's the one I want. How would you balance operational and capital investment in community facilities such as libraries, pools, sports grounds with the need to keep rates affordable?
I want to be really clear. I don't support closing the swimming pool. I don't support closing the library. I don't support closing art galleries. I don't support closing school sports fields or sports facilities. I think those things are really critical. And in fact, the types of investments that council is making now into those facilities is largely about saving the ratepayer money. So it's things like doing proper energy management in the swimming pool so that we spend less on the electricity and gas bill. It's putting solar panels onto some of our buildings. So the investment that's going in now is not costing ratepayers, it's saving ratepayers.
Right, Button?
Yep, no problem. Wilson, we got a button from Wilson.
I think a lot of it too is, do you call it core business or what? As far as socially in that, the well-being of our community in that is huge. If we haven't got people feeling safe and able to occupy themselves, I mean, work hours seem to be getting less and recreational hours are getting longer. So people need to be more involved in their community and also mix more socially in that. These days with everyone sitting at home in front of their big screen TVs and that, socially we're not mixing the same as we used to. And that comes back to somewhere along the line, it'll backfire on us all with our younger generations.
Yeah, I'll butt in there too.
Okay, yeah, button from Mark.
Yeah, I think community facilities are huge. I mean, it brings in visitors from outside the region. It brings schools, clubs, sporting events. Just have to look up the road at Ames Games and what that's able to produce for the Tauranga region. If we can have facilities that were on par with some of those facilities over in the Big Brothers city, we could too attract those sorts of numbers into the region, and you think the growth you get from that, from the cafes, the bars, the hoteliers, all that sort of infrastructure that we could be investing in could certainly make a big difference to our community, and it would stop the youth from leaving. It would potentially stop the elderly from leaving as well, because there'll be plenty for them to do. I mean, part of our issue is the youth go, the elderly go, and we're left with everybody in the middle.
Okay, and tradition with every button. Mark, what's your next box number?
Anybody out there? 28?
Solve.
Thank you, Leslie.
Okay, we got G for Geyser. What do you see as council's largest financial risk, and how would you ensure it's mitigated?
Well, this is probably a little bit out of my ballpark, but I'll give it a whirl. Biggest financial risk is the unchecked capital expenditure on projects that have escalated in cost. I would mitigate this by a stronger project governance, staged deliveries, transparent reporting, and a greater community engagement before entertaining these or committing to these projects.
Okay, Philip, what's next box number?
22.
Oh, thank you for that one. My birthday. Okay, we got E for East Coast Main Trunk Line. Do you agree with how council is currently managing its debt? If not, what changes would you make?
Definitely not. The operating deficit must be eliminated, and its unnecessary contribution to our debt eliminated. Unnecessary capital projects have to be halted. We should be limiting largely funding our infrastructure needs from depreciation to minimise the increase in loans. In the 12 years to 2022, the Tony Bond and Judy Turner councils managed to hold the average annual debt increase to $5 million. In 3 years, the current council has borrowed $90 million. It has got to stop.
Okay, Wilson, what's your next box number?
Try and pick me one.
Already been taken, but there we got one down one end. We got 5 and 6 in the middle. 12. Sorry? Yep, we can do 27. Okay, we got I for India. How would you attract investment without compromising the rural character and community values of the district?
Rural character, well, that's changing all the time too. So when you say you want to retain the rural character, our rural character in our district now isn't like what it was 50 years ago. It's not full of dairy farms. It's a lot of horticulture, kiwi fruit. We're even getting solar farms now, which to me don't really sort of enhance rurally, but there's a lot of industries in that can still come to our area and not affect the character of the place. It's just making spaces and that available for outside investors to come. It's not council's business to be developing the businesses themselves. We've just got to put things in place. Retirement villages and that, and I talk about villages plural, would bring a lot of people from outside the area in, plus increase labour and that, jobs.
Okay, Victor, what's your next box number?
27.
Already been taken, but we've got 26. Yep. Okay, we got you for uniform. Do you support sustainable land use planning that balances economic development with environmental protection?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a bit of an environmentalist, and I do understand that we need to have incomes coming in. Without a decent environment, we have nothing. So absolutely do support sustainable land use planning. In some ways, in New Zealand, we've dropped the ball in that department. We have serious nitrate pollutions and high levels of nutrients in the ground already, and I think that we really have to do a better job of that land use planning. Thank you.
Okay, 20 questions down, and we've got a new list order. Mark, what box number? Are you asking your neighbour now?
Tacoma Waru.
Sorry, the voting age has been taken, but we got Tacoma Whetū.
Tacoma Whetū.
Let's go with that then.
So the age you can join the military at. Okay, we got O for Oscar. What will you do to how will you address issues like retail crime, community safety, and access to health, recreation, and social services in the district?
How would I? Firstly, you'd strengthen your partnerships with the community police. You would invest in better lighting in those troublesome areas. You would start with what we talked about earlier, and I think Wilson touched on it earlier, around community engagement for the youth to keep them busy, keep them active. Don't give them a reason to wander around and think about crime. You'd look at employment as well. I mean, with people, when people start earning $1, especially in the youth industry, there's no need for them to stray, and that starts with apprenticeships with local industries and local builders and things like that. So you've got to have a champion in the corner of our community, and I think the employers here are certainly some of our biggest champions that we can lean on. So that'll be probably one of the key ways of strengthening the crime in our community.
Okay, next up, Victor, Philip, what box number?
24.
Unavailable, but we've got 23.
That'll do.
Okay, we have B for Bravo. What does affordable rates mean to you, and how would you achieve this?
Our district's rates are clearly already unaffordable to many less fortunate ratepayers. And rating people out of their homes with further increases has to be stopped. That necessarily means slashing council spending on staff, on operating costs, and on major projects. It's the only way to restrain ongoing rates increases. I'd like to see rates increases tagged, if possible, very close to the CPI. I want to engage the community a lot more in deciding what is important, what is not, and therefore what increases you might have to bear. Currently, council suffers from significant misinformation, which is causing the councillors to make unwise decisions about rates, and that needs to stop.
Okay, Victor, what's your next box number?
16 goals.
Yep, we got the old driver's license age of 15. Go for 15, the old driver's license age, where probably say a good chunk of the audience got their license at. Okay, we got AB for the All Blacks. How would you strengthen relationship with central government and neighbouring councils to get the best outcome for Whakatāne District Council?
Well, with neighbouring councils, I think we already have a pretty good relationship at the mayoral level. I have a pretty good relationship with the mayors of Oporiki and Kawerau. We share various tables. We have the mayoral forum, the joint committee, and the regional transport committee, as well as the civil defence emergency management committee. So we actually spend quite a bit of time with each other. These need to be maintained, and perhaps their effectiveness needs to be improved somewhat, especially I think the joint committee, which could do a lot more than it's doing. Strengthening relationships with central government. Well, at one of the local government conferences, one of the criticisms I heard from one of our leaders was that don't come to us with your problems, come with solutions. And so I think we need to be innovative and go to government and say, okay, here's your problem and here's your potential solution. And I think that way you can strike up a better relationship with them. Give them something that they like and they might actually fund it.
Okay, Wilson, what box number?
Well, you're going to have to pack it because I'm losing track of what's left.
Should we go for the old for the former voting age when New Zealand first introduced voting of 21?
Yeah, that's before my time too.
Oh, I know. No, my 97-year-old grandmother was in that boat in 1949 was the first time she voted because she couldn't vote at 18. She had to wait till she was 21. Okay, we got P for Papa. How will you strengthen the relationship with iwi and hapu to ensure Te Tiriti partnership and kaitiakiatanga are at the heart of council decision making?
Well, council's already partway there now. We've got a team set up within council that deals with hapu and iwi, and they're doing a great job, and we're making great strides into creating a better relationship. And I think it's important that we keep that going. I also think it's important that we keep the Maori wards in place because that has really strengthened council. And I've seen that firsthand in the last 3 years. So.
Okay, and Nandor.
Choose for me, please.
Number 12.
What's significant about that age?
I don't know. If you're lucky enough to get put a year ahead at school, you might be able to start college. Like was it the Fernando twins, which mean nothing to you, but were friends of mine who were born on Anzac Day, 6 months after I was born, but they got to be in the same school year. But they had to wait 6 months longer before they could get their driver's license because they turned 15 6 months later. We got T for Tango. Trust in local government is vital. How will you ensure transparent decision making, genuine community consultation, and accountability as mayor?
Yeah, thank you. I've got a number of proposals that I've been talking about publicly about how we can improve the connection between the community and council. So the first one is I think we could hold public meetings in the council chamber. We had a public meeting here in the War Memorial I think it was last year. There was a huge turnout. People were really engaged. It showed people want to engage with council. So I'd like to see that happening regularly, but in the council chamber where we can live stream it. And that's our civic centre. Let's make it an actual civic centre. I'd like to hold council meetings around the district once a term, so not too often, but go to Te Teko, go to Murupara, go to Matata. We had a meeting in Murupara a few years ago when Julie Turner was mayor, and it was really great. We got to see the community face to face, they could see us, and all of our councillors got into that community. Some of them had never been there before, and so they could understand what their issues were, what those small towns really need. I want to have coffee mornings where people can just come along and have a chat with the mayor and councillors, have a grizzle in an informal way, because those council processes can be quite intimidating. And the last thing is I think we need to empower our community boards as a really powerful link between council and the community.
Yeah. Well said, Nandel.
Okay, and we've had all the candidates answer 25 of the 28 questions, and we've only got 3 left, but we've got 5 candidates. So should we pick one of those 3 questions and treat it as a hard hitting where all of you get to answer it? How does that sound? What letter would that be? Sorry, V. D? Yep, let's do D for Delta. Do you support rates capping? If so, should apply to both core and non-core services? If not, why not? And let's see what random list your order generator gives up. Mark, you get to go first.
Brilliant, thanks. In principle, I support keeping rates growth under control, but a blanket capping can backfire by starving essential services. Rates discipline should apply strongly to non-core activities, while core activities must remain fit for purpose, and we've got to keep our community safe. So I guess that's what I've got to say on that.
Okay, Victor.
Actually, I'm not completely decided. A lot of homework needs to be done. There are pros and cons to capping and non-capping. My initial inclination is not to support capping. 40% of Australia has applied rates capping. I'm not sure it's a grand success there. They do have a different system to ours, and the federal government provides billions of dollars of funding to councils. I think we should be capping ourselves, and I do agree with my accountant friend to the right of me, who says that rates shouldn't really increase by much more than CPI, and that's what I've been fighting for since I've been in council, and have actually voted down several annual plans and several long-term plans because they didn't fit that criterion. So I think we should be showing some fiscal self-discipline.
Philip.
Victor just stole my words.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Rates capping at reasonable level should be a function of a mayor and councillors who care for their community. They should be prepared to say no to unnecessary spending to make sure they're not loading up rates on less fortunate ratepayers. As to the broader subject of government-produced rates capping, they're still trying to work that out, and it may be harder than they ever expected, but I suspect that they will have some leeway, some lesser capping on core services. But the problem with government capping, and Victor's alluded to it, is that for councils, mayors that are a little bit lazy and not prepared to dig too deep, it becomes an easy problem to cut back on maintenance. To use one of Wilson's favourite terms, I believe, kick the can down the road. So government rates capping It might come in some form, but it's a bit dangerous.
Okay, Wilson.
No, I'm not in favour of rates capping and that. It hasn't worked in other places around the world. You could probably say that most of New Zealand's infrastructure problems at the moment come from self-imposed capping by councils trying to keep rates down too low, and now we've hit home and we've got to carry the can. I look at this building here that needs a lot of work spent on it. What did the ratepayers 60 years ago when this was getting built? They put it all forward. We've all enjoyed the benefit of it, and now we don't want to leave anything for our future generations. So I'm not saying that we get on and just spend unlimited, but I agree with the others in that where councils need to have self-imposed capping.
Okay, Nandor.
Yeah, I'm totally opposed to rates capping. I think Karen Hamill, who's a candidate for council, said it well the other day. She said it's a blunt instrument to try and solve a complex problem. And it's really like if your nails are too long, using a hammer to try and cut your nails. It's it's counterproductive. And as Wilson has said, it's the decades of deferred spending on water infrastructure that has got us into this mess in the first place. More of the same will just make things worse. Again, as Victor alluded to, the example in Australia has been a disaster. My understanding is there's been an attempt to roll it back, and playing catch up with the deferred maintenance from those rates caps is ending up costing more money to actually deal with the deferred maintenance. And to me, this is another example of central government removing local decision making while they continue to load unfunded responsibilities on council. So they criticise us and they continue to give us more and more things that we have to do by legislation without providing the money to do it. And yeah, I think it's a really bad idea.
Now, here's something to ponder about. I have been told there is a local government CPI figure out there that is actually different to the general CPI. And I'm wondering which figure would they use as the CPI of local government infrastructure, such as like the price of bridges have gone up by 40% in the last 3 years. Insurance has shot up through the roof. Or would it be based on the price of the normal CPI? Or could it be based on something that most people don't think about, is the price increase in the last 12 months of a block of vegan butter, which has barely moved. Now, I know which one sounds attractive.
You can't bag dairy farmers all the time. Dairying's a big part of our area here. So.
Got no problem. I'm just allergic to cow's milk, so I'm forced to have to look at alternative products. But I've got no problem with the fact that we've got dairy in there, and I do miss the real deal. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that this infrastructure deficit is quite interesting in that it opened up at about the neoliberal era. So, something.
I'll turn it up. Do you want to try again?
No, it's okay. I think they heard me.
Okay, let's.
Well, we're on the same page, mate. I think we are.
Yeah. Okay, so Ian, can you please put the hard-hitting question graphics on, please?
Hard-hitting questions. We don't get anything funny. What does a question? Because every candidate has answered the hard-hitting questions.
Okay, so let's get to hard-hitting questions. These are the questions where no candidate can use their button cards or their defer cards. Okay, so get on to hard-hitting question number 1. What is your long-term vision for Whakatāne District, and how will you deliver strong, transparent leadership that brings communities along with you? Philip.
One of the things that I've got in my mind if I become mayor is to replace the Living Together committee with a community committee. not stacked with councillors, but stacked with community representatives, including community board chairs. I think I would want to use a council community committee with a wide-ranging brief to look at our support for the aged, for the young, for the homeless, for the less fortunate, and thereby build a relationship, a better relationship between the community and the council, so that we can serve the community correctly and not continue jumping its shadows, solving problems that are not necessarily what the community wants.
Okay, Nandor.
Look, I just think we live in the most incredible place in the world in this district. We've got amazing people, creative, entrepreneurial. We've got really strong communities where people know each other, know how to look after each other, and you see that every time we have a disaster. We've got the most incredible natural environment, so we have so much going for us. And I think we can be a shining example to the country and, in fact, the world of how a small community can prosper and thrive in a time of uncertainty and difficulty. There's two things. We've got a 50% Māori population in this district. I think we can show the country and the world how a settler society and an Indigenous society can live together, put the past behind us, move together with a sense of shared prosperity for all. I think we can create a circular economy where we support the local economy, we keep money circulating here in the local economy, but it's not just money, it's resources. We don't have waste, we have feedstocks for the next industrial process. And our people, we have to know how to make use of our people. Our young people go away to see the world, we want to make sure they come back, that this is a place they want to come back to. And we've got this incredible, resilient community that's so important, and we have to look at how do we empower that. I already talked about my kind of transparent leadership approach with public meetings and council meetings around the districts, community boards, coffee mornings. So I think I've already covered all that stuff. But for me, the key thing is we need to have a vision of where we're trying to go. We need to excite ourselves about it. We need to get together around a common purpose. Cool.
Okay, next up, Mark.
Thank you. My long-term vision for Whakatāne is to be resilient, sustainable and a connected district. Where our young people see a future, where our environment is protected, where our economy can thrive, and I can deliver this through transparent leadership, genuine consultation, and by always putting our community first.
Okay, Wilson.
Council's a slow moving beast, and so I'm always thinking 20 and 30 years ahead. I want to see what your grandchildren and their children are going to be able to use and enjoy in our district, because that's how long it takes to get some of these projects underway. As I've said, I like to lead, I like to create a team approach, and not only amongst councillors, but bring staff in as well, so that we're all here for the same purpose and got the same goals. All our staff live in the district as well. They're all ratepayers as well, so they don't want any more higher rates than we do. But and communication, just communicate with everyone all the time. Open communication with everyone.
Okay, next up, Victor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess many of the folk here have already said it, but we want a district where people can prosper, where we can live, work, play and stay. Councils throughout New Zealand have always impressed me with the level of transparency, and we've taken that to new heights in recent times with virtually everything the council, every business the council conducts out in the public view. Everything is streamed and recorded and maintained, you know, on a server forever. As the mayor, I've done more than my share of communicating with this community. I've been open. I've been an open book. Just talking about what Philip was talking about, the idea of citizens jury. Well, I'll set up 2 groups that are basically community groups, but with specific expertise in areas. So that's getting the community into council. And as far as leadership is concerned, Well, I wrote a thing called the Mayor's Expectations for LTP 2434. It's out there. That's what I was hoping to achieve. It's out there for everybody to read. I don't know how I can be any more transparent than what I've been, and that's I think that shows leadership.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number 2. As Mayor, how do you intend to lead and manage elected members who have opposing views or are in conflict? Nandor.
Look, difference, opposing views is great. The last thing you want is a council where everyone sits around the table and everyone agrees with each other all the time. That's not going to lead to good decision making. Differences of opinion is an opportunity for everyone to learn. If someone has a different view, that's an opportunity to find out why do they hold that view, because everyone holds views for a reason, so they must have a reason. What is it? Can we learn from it? And together, through shared understanding, can we come to a better decision than we would have done otherwise? To me, that's what difference is about. So I love opposing views. And you've got to listen. You've got to start by listening to the other person, not to wait for them to stop so you can say something. You've got to listen to understand. What are they trying to say? Genuinely trying to understand. And then there's always points of agreement. We all share basic common values, so you find those points of agreement. And then from there you can move forward to some shared decisions. In terms of council, I think also regular catch-ups with every council member, whether you agree with them or not. Regular catch-ups, regular councillor-only time, and allowing each councillor the opportunity to shine. Give them the opportunity to actually do something.
Okay, Wilson.
I think it's critical that we have opposing views on council and that, otherwise, like Nandor says, we're not going to get any discussion. So I enjoy that and I would encourage it. As far as conflict goes and that, I love conflict. So my wife always says I shine with conflict. I'm not scared of dealing with conflict, and generally conflict is just a matter of communicating and softening things down and bringing everyone around. So, like I said, build a team approach. Everyone can talk to each other, and you avoid a lot of that sort of stuff.
Okay, Mark.
Well, I mean, it's all been said, isn't it, really? Like, in the community board, we all had opposing views at times, and you have to disagree to agree sometimes. But once you walk out the door, you've got to leave it all behind and you carry on. I mean, that's a collective approach. Collaboration among members sets the culture for how you want to move forward. And your differences shouldn't be seen as a weakness. They should be seen as a strength, because different opinions can certainly shift the way that you think as well, and it puts you into a growth mindset as opposed to a negative mindset. So as a mayor, I guess I'm sure that all voices are heard, and make sure they're all heard before any decisions are made. And like Nandor and Wilson said, listening is the key, and you don't always have to have the answers.
Okay, Philip.
From day one, my intended modus operandi is to have very regular one-on-one conversations with all councillors, and regular, perhaps twice monthly, group caucus meetings, private group caucus meetings of all councillors. That will build consensus and harmonise us as a team. In the short term, both before and after council is sworn in on the 31st of October, I intend to have caucus meetings where we will establish the initial priorities. We will establish our own agendas. We will try to find some initial consensus so that we can lay out council's intended work program for the next 6 to 12 months. But I'm under no false impression. It's not an easy task. There will be difficult changes to make. At times there will be people who don't agree, and they will be given every opportunity to express their opinions and vote against whatever's coming up.
Okay, Victor.
Yeah, well, in the science realm, they say that argument is the soul of science, and I guess in politics and democracy, it's the same. As everybody else has said, if we all agreed, we would be dysfunctional. At the end of the day, we live in a democracy, so we won't always agree, and the votes will fall where they may, and we'll just have to move on. So I've always advertised myself as the mayor with the open door policy, but I can't force folk to come and knock. I think in the time that I've been the mayor, very few people have come and knocked on, well, people from the community do, but very few councillors have come and said, hey, I want to have a conversation with you. Of course, being the mayor there's a lot on the agenda and the calendar's pretty full, but hey, I'm available after 5 too. So, you know, come and knock and the door will open.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number 3. What is your position on retaining Whakatāne's district councils? Was it Whakatāne Mayoral Ward and the Bay of Plenty Regional Council's Kohi Māori constituency, and why do you hold that position? Mark?
Yep, it's an easy one. You support it 100%. Retaining both Whakatāne Mayoral Ward and the Kohi Māori contingency. These provide a strong voice for our tangata whenua, and it will certainly enhance decision making and uphold our tiriti obligations. Also ensure there's a representation of balanced and inclusive governments.
Okay, next up, Philip.
I want everybody at the table. Maori, rural. I'd like to see some 20-something councillors. The possibility for Asians. Of course there will be urban councillors. We might get somebody representing grey power that's not myself, even the disadvantaged. The only way to get a broad range of those kinds of people on council is to have STV voting across the whole district. That means we don't have wards which encourage parochialism. And unfortunately, I don't support Maori wards because they deal primarily to Maori on the Maori roll and disenfranchise all others, including Maori on the general roll.
Okay, Wilson.
I fully support them, and like I said earlier on in that, I've had experienced 3 years of having them on board, and I can only praise. It's enlightened me to see another side of our culture, our New Zealand culture. And I grew up amongst Maori as a child, and thought I knew the culture reasonably well, but I've learned a lot in the last 3 years, so I fully back them.
Nandor.
Yes, I 100% support Māori wards as well, and I want to mention to Tony Burnson there, who's done so much work in this area. Maura Karatai as well has done an enormous amount of work in this area. 2 things I'll just say quickly. So one is the Bay of Plenty Council's Kohi Māori constituency is not in danger. That's actually there by an act of Parliament. I know that because I was in Parliament when it came through. It's a local government bill in the name of Mitsa, and I think it was really foresighted, and it was the passage of that local government bill that convinced the government that they should make this available to all councils. That's why we have Māori wards across the country, or the potential for them. I think that they're really important. They work like a royal ward, in my view. They simply ensure that voices are heard and that people whose voice might otherwise not be represented are represented. So just like the rural community happens for the Māori community, it's not tino rangatiratanga, it's an Article 3 right, it's about democratic participation. So yeah, 100% behind them.
Okay, Victor.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give an answer that probably people have heard, but I voted to establish Maori wards in 2021, and more recently we all voted to maintain them. However, I'm a great believer in democracy and acting in accordance with the collective will of the people, government of the people, for the people and by the people. And although I'm happy with the current situation, government has decided that it will go to a referendum. And I'm all for referenda. I'd do a referenda on everything if I could. And the technology is getting to that point that it will make that possible. If the outcome of the referendum is the retention of Maori wards, then I'll happily continue to work with Maori ward councillors just as I do with anyone in the spirit of good faith. I've enjoyed my time around the table with my Maori ward councillors. It is what I've been doing for the past 3 years. I promised courtesy, cooperation and collaboration, and I'm going to continue in that vein if I get elected. As a scientist, collaboration is vital, and so it is as a mayor or councillor who is there to represent the entire district. Our iwi partners are vitally important in a district like Whakatāne, all for one and one for all.
Okay, it is now that time for closing statements on why you, was it the candidates, should ask the voters to give you that tick. Wilson, you're up first.
Like I said, I'm here for people, our community and our district. I haven't come here tonight for a haircut, and my jacket says it all.
Okay, Mark.
I'm standing for mayor because I'm a young whippersnapper that's wanting to make a difference in the community. I'm from the 70s, not the 50s, 60s or the 40s. And I'm at the peak of my game. So mark my words, I'll make a difference.
Okay, next up, Philip.
Yes, Philip Jacobs is my name, and you know what I stand for. You know that I am a man prepared to speak my mind and fight for you to restrain council spending, minimise future rates rises and council debt. But note, council's problems are not just financial. Your council is suffering from excessive staff numbers, bloated organisational processes, and a culture of community disrespect. In conjunction with the necessary financial reforms, I intend significantly to facilitate a reduction of staff numbers, simplifying council processes so that things happen faster, and running a management upskilling training program. Transparency, accountability, absolute honesty, community respect will all become council's future culture during my mayoralty. Change is absolutely necessary, and I think I am the only candidate that can drive that necessary change for you.
Okay, Victor.
Well, thank you. Yeah, look, I'm the mayor of this place. This is the place I grew up in. I've come full circle. I spent 30 years out of the country, and I've ended up back where I started because it's as good as it gets. As a professional working in, having had a professional working life in the public service research, you don't do it for money. You do it for people. As a little girl at Upanui School said, when I asked, what does the mayor do? She said, helps people. So that's what I'm here for. I've done the best job I could do with what I had. Times were tough. We faced this huge inflation pulse, and I fought hard to keep rates rises to a minimum. It's what I said I was going to try and do. I voted down the last LTP because it exceeded what I considered affordable to the majority. I'll stick with that. As the mayor, I never expected to get everything I wanted. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might just find you get what you need. But I do feel that I made good on my 2022 commitments, finding ways of filling the coffers. Yes, it wasn't something we just started yesterday, but we've taken it to conclusion. Solar development, we've finally got panels on the roof of council installations, and the proposal for a second bridge is sitting on the minister's desk, and it was done and it was supported by council. Proposal for a regional end-of-life tyre processing facility is sitting on the Mayoral Forum table. So I think for a first-term mayor, people say you didn't get anything done. Well, some things got done and council did everything it had to do, Dave. So thank you.
Okay, next up, Nandor.
As Mayor, I will have three priorities: to control costs through less external consultants, by tapping relationships in Wellington and elsewhere to attract investment, by careful use of AI and other technology to boost productivity, and getting on with that work of getting a better return from council's commercial assets. We can't stop rates rising, as I've explained before, but we can spend your money more wisely. I want to make council more accessible by holding regular public meetings in the council chamber open to anyone, holding some council meetings around the district to better understand the needs of the whole district, and restarting Mayor's coffee mornings as a casual way that we can hear from people. And we need to make intergenerational decisions such as building resilience to climate change, pushing for the two-laning of Whakatāne Bridge, doing something about the lack of housing, and building authentic relationships with tangata whenua for shared prosperity. One of the reasons I strongly support Māori wards. Look, our kids will go out and see the world. They want to explore, experience, and we want them to do that. We just need to make sure it's a place they want to come back to. Vote Nando for Mayor. I know how to lead a council. I know how to get things done.
Okay, thank you for coming tonight. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping before we go, just because we're open here and transparent, it's in the ballot. Today's cost to sit there and run the show costs $154 in venue hire. It also costs $14 in our internet Starlink connection, $31 for restreaming hosting services, which sends it from off to the multiple online destinations where the show goes between the It's in the Ballot channels and with our broadcasting partners. We also have a fuel allowance that we allow for $100 for these events, and also a $50 refreshment budget to sit there and do that. If you'd like to sit there and support It's in the Ballot Productions on bringing these candidates around, feel free to head to our website, it'sintheballot.nz, and you can put in a direct credit deposit donation into our Kiwi Bank account. You can also go onto our Eventbrite Praise and do a koha ticket or a koha without admission ticket for our shows. That can also do it, and you can also make a donation to our Give a Little page. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us live, you can do a super chat, and it will sit and do it. If you're watching us later on, you can do a super thanks, as these funds will sit there and help doing it. As being a small non-profit funded on small dollar donations, it definitely, you know how to make a budget stretch very far. I will also tell you, I do have $1,000 I've got to find tomorrow for Cambridge Town Hall, so that is something that is a little bit of a thing I've got to try and work out, but one way or another, it always works.
Sam, I know hardly has been working in our...
Do you want to come down here and put it on the microphone so those at home can hear?
You're on my cord.
You're corded.
Oh, kia ora te whānau. I know how hard Sam's been working because he's been staying at my house since he arrived in the Eastern Bay. He arrived with his colleague, Hamish, who then...
No, not Hamish,
Henry, who then had to return back to Wellington after the first night because he was very, very ill. And so Sam has been doing all of this all over the district, even as far as Omokoroa, Rotorua, for day on day on day, and not getting back to my house until 11, 12 o'clock at night. He's actually blown me away. A stranger who walked into our life and who has made just such an amazing commitment to our democracy in our local region. So on behalf of the community, thank you, Sam, for everything that you have done to give democracy a voice in our community.
And I also like to say thank you for having me at your place. It has saved a lot of money. We were looking at a budget of potentially could be up to $2,000 in accommodation costs. So that is completely not happened, which has saved a lot of money. I will also sit there and say Henry has been remote editor on our shows because he saw himself as, well, I've invested into the project, I must keep going. So that sort of thing there. Now, I do have one challenge I'd like to ask Whakatāne. Now, and I want you, now I'm from Wellington City. I'm not exactly impressed with the views that have come from Wellington City. We'd like to see if you can join the ranks of Upper Hutt and Lower Hutt mayoral debate and see if we can get 2,500 views between Facebook and YouTube in the next 48 hours of this show so that voters have an idea of what the candidates are. I believe this community will pull that off. The next community I believe will pull off will be Hamilton. So if you want to take that challenge, please share our Facebook live stream, share our YouTube live stream, and sit down there and get that across there, because I believe we can probably sit there and do it, and let's put my own city to shame on the view numbers. Okay, well, we'll call that for a night. Oh no, my thank yous to my crew. So I'd like to sit there and thank our candidates for participating tonight. Can I thank Ian, who's been doing the remote editor on the computer, who's come down, who's done the last 2 days on it, has taken a hell of a lot of stress off me doing it, and can thank Catherine for doing the cameras. That has also sat there and taken off stress having to try and rope someone in from the audience. Somehow we've managed to do that all over the place. Also like to thank tonight's remote editor, Paul, for coming in, and also like to thank our other members of the It's on the Ballot team, Stacey, our producer, who's been doing the graphics and setting up all our restream stuff in the background. Also like to thank Laura, who's been doing our marketing and promotions. Like to thank Helen, who's been doing our basically making sure the questions come in through the question forms, make sure they go in there, make sure they're legible, so they're actually what councils can do. And also thank you to Carol, who's been doing the playing cards, advertising, going around for the candidates who are participating. And thank you to the audience for participating tonight. I know we're new to the Whakatāne community, but I feel that we will be back. Yeah, no problem. Can you hit the closing credits key, please, Ian?